Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a special friend with me who is a fellow holistic coach and an amazing human being, Melanie. Hi Mel. How does it feel to
Hello.
start this new podcast journey together? I know I am so excited.
Oh, yeah, so excited too. A little bit nervous, but I'm really excited just to bring this to everyone and just to talk about the things that aren't spoken about enough. So I'm super excited to be here and I'm honored to be here with you, Pri.
Of course, thank you. I am too. So today we want to talk about something we don't always pause to reflect on. That is redefining success. What does it really mean to be successful? And more importantly, what if the definition we've been following, all these years throughout our childhood and adulthood, up until now, what if that's not the one that leads to true fulfillment in a
Yeah.
world that glorifies constant achievement? It's easy to feel like success is all about ticking boxes, right? Like career milestones, financial goals, or living up to certain societal standards. But what if there's another way to see it? Like one that feels more authentic, meaningful, and true to who you are. So I have a question for you. What does success mean to you, Mel?
To me, I would put it down to one word simply happiness is what success means to me. So it's just being happy in what I'm doing, living life in alignment with who I truly am and living in flow and having balance. So if I was to wrap that all up into one word, it would be happiness.
Okay.
And it hasn't always been the case. So, like you mentioned before, when I was growing up, and I think it's a societal belief, is that I believe growing up that success meant, owning your house. It meant having that dream career, always sort of striving for the next thing. It meant having, if it's X amount of dollars, or even like owning a business. Just say a couple of years ago, I would have thought it would have meant having so many clients, and all of these beliefs that have been instilled in us either from conditioning growing up or in society. And so it would be like you said, ticking the boxes of having the house, the white picket fences, the 2.5 children, and having it all put together. But simply to me now, and it's only because of the journey that I've been on, is that it's really simple. And success to me, honestly, just means being happy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very beautiful, and I totally resonate with that. I think at this point in life, with the journey, like you just mentioned, the journey we've had, it's obviously going to be different, but I feel like after a certain point in life, you come to realization that it's the simplest things that matter, right? For me, it's becoming that version of myself who has the consistency, the mental peace, and the ability to be of service to others. And I feel like that's very powerful and that's so strong within me. Like I feel so strongly about it, you know. Yeah. So
Yeah.
for many of us, success becomes something we measure through what we accomplish, right? How much money do we earn? How many certificates did we earn? How many trophies did we collect? We raise our own standards so high every time we keep achieving something. We feel happy for a few moments, but I honestly feel like we've forgotten how to celebrate the small wins. We push ourselves to achieve more thinking, oh, that's when, I'll finally be happy. Like that's when I will feel enough. And that never happens. But when our self-worth is like attached to something, some material or physical or something outside of us, it I think can create an endless cycle. Like no matter how much we accomplish, it never quite feels enough. And the problem with this, I think, is the mindset that we've been I guess, trained with all our lives, or we have this certain mindset that takes place, all of this takes place, the value and everything is outside of us. Like it's it's more of like what our to-do lists are, what our job titles are, what our social status is. And the moment those things waver even a little bit, we feel like we failed and we completely detach from the journey and the process of getting there. And even when we are trying our best. What are your thoughts on this, Mel?
Yeah, I totally agree with the achievement based success.
Yeah.
It's all about, like you said, it's the external. So it's all about the externals. It's almost like, how does it look to everyone else? Like, it's like you said, the job title. It's, you're based on what you do, and you're viewed as what you do, not who you are as a person. And so I find the problem with this is that it is all externalized, and it's not saying anything about who you are internally, or what your values are, or what you enjoy, or all of that makes up your personality. So it's a really hard trap that you get sucked into, because it is reward based, and so you feel like it's always got to be the next thing. Like, it's when I get XYZ, I will then be happy,
Yeah,
right? And then you get that, and it's like, oh, but then now I need this. And
exactly.
so the trouble with that being reward based and being externalized is that we're always looking outwards for happiness instead of actually being happy in who we are and what we're doing now. And another trap that opens up for us is the comparison trap, right? Because you look at what everyone else has and you think, oh, well, I want that, or I need that. And again, you're going through life comparing. And we know that comparison just takes away the joy. It takes away the things that you have now, the gratitude, the appreciation for your life, because you are comparing to someone else. And so it is a vicious trap that we can get caught amongst, externalizing and comparing. And it's some unhealthy behavior that we can find ourselves being amongst, and not knowing how to get out of that trap. And so we fall into another trap, and that trap is the pressure to have it all. And I'm sure you have all felt this, is the pressure to do everything at once, to do it perfectly, and for it to look a certain way. And again, this is a trap we can fall into, which really doesn't have our best interest at heart. It really isn't looking after the best version of ourselves. It's still more feeding into that societal or that conditioned belief that we have developed over time, and it's those beliefs that we have from like childhood, that we actually don't have to believe those things anymore. And that's the beauty of it, is that we can choose to believe our own beliefs. Because being stuck in this cycle of the pressure to have it all, it actually limits our potential. It limits like how much we can actually do, or how much we think we can actually do, because we're putting so much pressure on ourselves. And that pressure leads to things like anxiety, stress, overwhelm, and all of those uncomfortable feelings that I'm sure everyone listening has experienced at some point in their life. Going back to the beginning, we spoke about having that achievement based worth. We get caught into that trap as well of just having all of our things based on our achievements and not who we are as people. So really getting back to living in alignment with who we really are, and being grateful for what we have in the moment, in the now, and not striving for that more, that achievement base, that pressure of having it all. What are your thoughts, Pre, on the pressure that is put amongst us to have this life look a certain way?
Yeah, I have to say the pressure is real. And I
Mm.
think most of us feel the pressure, some for longer periods of time, and some who have the awareness that okay, this pressure is energy consuming and effort consuming, we tend to try and practice um, to get rid of the pressure in a way, or to like just sort things out in our heads. I, the thing is, we're expected to thrive in our careers, maintain a perfect home, stay active in our social lives, the social circle, and somehow also find time for self-care, our mental health and our physical health and our spiritual and emotional. How does one human being do all of that? It's it's as if slowing down or focusing on fewer things is seen as falling behind. There's also this feeling, or rather, the fear of missing out, the FOMO on what's happening on social media, what's happening in our circle, what's happening in the family. It's difficult to keep up with everything. And like you mentioned, so aptly, this pressure definitely leads to burnout, stress, anxiety, and the feeling of being stretched too thin, that we lose sight of what we truly want and need and desire. What are we working towards? The truth is, the pressure to do it all can sometimes leave us feeling less fulfilled than more. And a lot of people in our generation often feel less satisfied with everything they're doing, because we tend to put our hands into so many things at once. We're not able to, I guess, save ourselves in the right moment. And we just tend to like keep doing it, repeating the cycle over and over again. So I think at this point, I feel the important question is, what if we choose to step away from that pressure? What if success wasn't about proving ourselves, but about creating a life that feels aligned with what matters most? I feel opting out of the achievement race doesn't really mean giving up. It means choosing differently, choosing yourself, your values, your mental health. It's about recognizing that we don't have to measure our worth by what we accomplish, and that peace, purpose, fulfillment can come from living intentionally, not just endlessly striving. And I think I know kind of in my heart that you try and practice to live intentionally as well. And we've had some amazing conversations on that. And I want to ask you, how about you? How do you do it?
Yeah, and I think we've had many conversations before about, both bringing this awareness and this intentionality to our everyday lives. And if I was to break it down into the practical steps that I take, I would narrow it down to three things. So the first thing being defining what success means to you. And that's a really important one, because asking ourselves that question of what success really, really means, it helps us to go inwards. So internally ask ourselves, what does it mean to us at the end of the day? If there was no one else and it was just us, what do we find that is successful for us? And it's quite a big question, but can be quite an enlightening question too, because it gives us a moment to think about the things that we see as success. Are they actually ours, or are they someone else's idea of success or someone else's belief of success? And it's like anything, if we don't have a goal, then how do we reach, a clear goal? How do we reach that? So that would be number one, is just really asking yourself, whether it's journaling or whether it's just taking a moment to go in, but asking what success means to you and being really clear on that. The second one is being really clear on your values, because again, your values are your North Star. They guide you through life. And if you know what your top 5 values are, then you can live life in alignment with those values. And each time you come to a question, you can just simply ask yourself, does it align with my values? Yes, no, you get your answer. As simple as it takes away all the procrastination. It takes away, how much time a week or thinking, running things over and over in our heads. And that can take that all away. So being really clear again on your top 5 values and having that list there to revert back to when it comes to making decisions in life.
Yeah.
And then the third thing for me is just it's mindset. So it's a daily choice that I make to show up in a certain way. And this some days can be hard because some days, I do want to lay in bed and not get up when my alarm goes off. And the list of things to do can be overwhelming. But it's having that daily choice of how do I want to show up in my life today?
Yeah.
And showing up that way across my life in all areas. And, it's just a daily choice that you make. And it's a question you can ask yourself every day of how do I want to show up today? How does my future person want me to show up today? How does the business Mel want me to show up? How does the social Mel want me to show up? And again, really living in alignment with, what is in line with your values, and with the decisions you make, and with, your the way that you see success. And I think those three together are a really nice combo of a way to really live in more in alignment and to opt out of this pressure that society or conditioning has put upon us.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Pri?
I
Anything to add?
Firstly, thank you for sharing the practical tips. I resonate with all of them, but most importantly, what strikes me the most, because I follow this with my all of my heart, is creating a life that reflects our values. I ask myself, what does success look like when we redefine it after all of the journey that we've had after all of these years? And I I feel it's no longer about chasing achievements. It's literally about, at least for me, it's literally about creating a life that reflects my values, about finding joy in the present, nurturing meaningful connections, and making space for what truly matters. Success
Yeah.
can look like setting boundaries that protect your mental health. It can be choosing rest when your body needs. It could be embracing stillness instead of constantly pushing for the next big goal. When we shift from achievement to alignment, as you said, we create space for something deeper, a life that feels whole, grounded, and true to who we are. And yeah, as I guess we are wrapping up today's episode of Redefining Success, we want to let you know, if you've ever felt like success is out of reach, like no matter how much you achieve, it's never enough, please know that it's okay to step back. Your worth isn't defined by what you accomplish. Sometimes the greatest form of success is simply, finding peace with who you are right now. And I kid you not, it's beautiful. It's such a beautiful feeling. And we'd love to hear what success means to you. And are there ways you've shifted your focus from achievement to alignment? Let's talk in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who might need a reminder that success isn't about doing more, it's about finding what feels right for you. Until next time, take care and be kind to yourself. Anything else you would like to add, Mel?
I would just like to add, like, just what you said then. If you're feeling like success is so far away or that you're not achieving the success that you had thought that you wanted or that you have been putting on yourself, maybe it is time for you to redefine what success means to you. So it's creating that. And I think once that happens, you will then find that success is actually achievable or it seems more attainable. So maybe it isn't, maybe it's just about redefining it for yourself. Because as you know, Pri, like you and me along your journey, success might also change over time. And so give yourself that time and that grace to work out what it means to you and how to show up in that way. And that's all I would encourage you is just to redefine what success means to you.
Awesome.
And yeah, I think the first episode's been great, and thank you everyone for joining us, and we can't wait to bring you more.
Yes, definitely. Awesome. Until next time, bye.
All right. Thank you.